Hello, my art friends. Today we're going to do a really special project about one of my favorite animals, a polar bear. So we're going to use different kinds of lines to draw our polar bear. To do this project, we're going to use some blue paper. We're going to use a black crayon. We're going to use a little bit of white chalk. We're going to have a little piece of black paper. You can cut the shape, or maybe a grown-up can help you if you're at home. And then we're also going to use either a white crayon or a white oil pastel to decorate the background with some snow. So you can follow along with these instructions and pause the video if you need to. This might be tricky for some of you, but I believe you can do it. So to start this project, we're going to make the polar bear's head. And his head shape is going to be like a big rainbow line. So it curves up and around and down. And what I like to do before I draw my rainbow line is I like to use my finger to practice, because I need this rainbow line to be big enough to be a polar bear's head. So I put my finger by one corner and I practice my hand going up and around all the way to the other corner. If you practice it with your hand a few times, it's not so tricky when you do it with the crayon. So my rainbow line needs to come up about halfway up, almost, not all the way to the tip top. We want to leave some sky. So about halfway up the paper and then around back down to the other corner. So now I've practiced, so I'm going to take my crayon and now I'm going to do that line again. I've practiced a few times so I know how it should curve around and back down almost to the other corner. I did it! So that is my polar bear's head. But polar bears have really cute little ears. And here's the great thing. We're going to use rainbow lines for those also. So you can practice with your finger. He has ears on both sides, so I'm going to practice on this side. And then I can practice on this side. Okay, I think I'm ready. I'm going to do a rainbow line up and down on the top of his head here. I'm going to put my finger here, practice, up and down until I hit his head. There's his two ears. Oh, I almost have him. Okay, so now, how about let's do this. Before I draw the rest of his face, let's glue down his cute little nose. So I am going to practice where I want it. I don't want his nose up on his forehead, and I don't want it down too low because then I can't fit his mouth, but I'm going to put it kind of in the middle, close to the bottom, but not maybe all the way there. Okay. So now I'm going to add my glue. Oh, with my glue stick. This one I'm going to rub, rub, rub. You can also use liquid glue and use little dot, not a lot, on the corners, right on the edges. Make sure you pay attention to where you put it. And whenever you glue, you always need to hold it down and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. There. Okay. So now, how about let's do this. Before I add his eyes and his mouth, let's give him some nice white fur. This is where I'm going to take my chalk. And I'm not going to be coloring like this. That would take a really long time. I'm actually going to use the side of the chalk, and I'm rubbing. So I'm laying the chalk down, I'm pinching, and I'm rubbing up and down. I want to stay inside his body, so I might twist, or I might have to pick it up and move it so that I'm not coloring the sky. If I get a little on his nose, that's okay. I can wipe it off. Rub, rub, rub. I might need to move my helping hand around because I want to hold my paper steady, but I don't want my hand to be in the way. See how I'm rubbing side to side here so I can fit it in between his nose and the bottom. I decided not to color his eyes first because then I would have to go around his eyes too, and that would be tricky. We could have colored him in before I put the nose down, but sometimes I get nervous about the glue sticking on top of chalk. I also want to get his ears nice and white. Oh, that looks nice. Okay. If you get a little chalk outside of here by accident, we can always take an eraser and we can try to erase that another time. Or we can try to rub it away. Okay, I have a nice white polar bear now. So now I get to add his eyes and his smile. So his eyes, I'm going to put my fingers here to make sure I like where they are. They should be above his nose and one on each side. So now I'm just going to color a nice big circle. And make it nice and dark so that he can see where he's going. And now I'm going to do another one. There's his eyes. Oh, he's looking cute. And now for his smile, polar bears and doggies and a lot of animals like that have their little snout where their mouth opens where it's almost like a W shape. So it has two little smile lines. So I'm going to start right in the middle of his nose. I'm going to curve down and up like a smile line. And then I'm going to do another one on the other side. Down and up like another smile line. There's my polar bear's mouth. Oh, he looks super, super cute. So now the only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try and draw back in that line. See where I kind of lost? I lost my line here, so I'm going to go over it one more time. And sometimes that's good even if your line doesn't disappear with the chalk because you can press harder the second time because now we're tracing. Sometimes when you do the line the first time, you don't press too hard because you're making sure you do it right. But the second time, we can just trace it. Okay, so there's my polar bear's face. Now I can decorate the background and have fun with that. So this is where I'm going to use either a white crayon or a white oil pastel. Oil pastels are just like crayons, but sometimes they show up a little better on the colored paper. And I'm going to make little dots. I'm going to jump around the paper. I'm not scribbling because I want this to be a nice, calm, snowy day for my polar bear. And I want to make sure I have snow everywhere because polar bears love to slide on their bellies in the snow and have fun, especially the little polar bear cubs. So let's give them a lot of snow. Now, if you want to try something to make a different kind of snowflake, I will show you one thing you can try. I like to make the letter X, and then I like to draw a line through it. And that's sort of like a different kind of snowflake, or some people think they look like stars in the sky. So if you want to try adding a few of those, you can do that also to make your polar bear's background, the sky and the land behind them, extra special. Oh, that looks so nice. Look at this winter wonderland we gave our polar bear. And there it is. Some of my chalk spread around here, but like I said, chalk is easy to erase or to wipe away. So we might need to dust our hands off, but there we have it. A cute little peeking polar bear. I hope you enjoyed this video. Have fun, my artists.